If you want a studio laptop that's pretty thin and light but also packs a hell of a punch, then I think this has to be it. This is the Acer ConceptD 5 and, like I said, packs a lot of hardware inside. It's got an i7-9750H, 32 gigs of RAM, 1TB of SSD space and 2TB of hard drive space, along with Quadro RTX 3000 graphics, and is about half the price of Razer Studio laptop. Oh, and the screen is an absolutely stunning 100% color calibrated Adobe RGB panel, so very, very impressive. Let's take a look at it and see if you should actually go pick one up though. Starting off with the spec, like I said, it really does pack a lot inside a pretty thin chassis. It's actually very similar to their Acer's own Triton 500, which is actually pretty similarly priced overall, and obviously just has those upgraded features like Quadro graphics instead of RTX or standard GeForce graphics, 32 gigs of RAM, and that extra SSD and hard drive space. Now with that said, especially thanks to the RAM and obviously the 6-core CPU, you can do stuff like video editing, 4K videos on this with absolutely no problems. So if you are planning on doing, say, mobile video editing, this could be a very good option. Now those Quadro RTX graphics are technically the lowest end Quadro RTX that they do. The 3000 is the lowest in that product stack, but with that said, it's very similar. In fact, it's basically the same sort of core design as an RTX 2060, meaning that if you had a good experience with an RTX 2060, you're going to have a good experience with this. Now, just to give a little bit of context on my Razer statement, those do use RTX 5000, which is more equivalent to something like a 2080 rather than 2060, and so there is a bit of a reason for the difference, but still interesting to know. As for benchmarking this, I ran my usual set of gaming benchmarks, as I do suspect a lot of people who pick these up will also want to game on the side, and of course I ran some more creative professional benchmarks in Premiere Pro, Blender, and PCMark. Starting off with those more creative professional benchmarks and Premiere, I'm using my usual 10-minute test render here with CUDA acceleration enabled. This laptop took 7 minutes and 9 seconds, which is actually pretty impressive, especially for a laptop. And then also with Blender, that one, again using CPU only this time, took around about 6 minutes and 19 seconds. So not the fastest, but of course you can enable GPU acceleration for certain renders, and that can significantly speed things up. And as for PCMark, I was running PCMark 10 here with the pretty much standard sort of Office application suite test, and that had a score of 3,992. Certainly not bad, and when it comes to the gaming results, well, like I said, it performs very similarly to a 2060, so here are those numbers. Starting off with Battlefield 5 with DX12 enabled but DXR off and on ultra settings, we're looking at 77 FPS average here, which is great. You also have 1% lows of 69 FPS, which is also very good too, and PUBG, again on ultra settings at 1080p, we're looking at 100 FPS average and a minimum of 40, although I think that was only for a few frames, so do take that with a pinch of salt. As for Fortnite, we're looking at 110 FPS average with a minimum of 78, so again, very good, very playable. It's certainly enough horsepower to play at 1080p with the 60Hz display, so very good there. When it comes to temperatures, it's actually very similar to, like I said, the Acer Triton 500, as it's basically the same sort of chassis and similar sort of hardware inside, so we're looking at the CPU getting pretty toasty, maxing out around 93 degrees Celsius, although under general loads it was staying around about 80, and actually the noise level of the laptop was pretty significantly lower than I would expect from this level of hardware, so good job there. When it comes to the graphics card, that peaked at 69 degrees Celsius, but was staying anywhere between 50 and 60 depending on the load. So what about the display? Well, it's 4K, which means it's incredibly sharp and just visually stunning to look at. It is incredibly pixel dense, and so you will need to run display scaling at least like 200% to be able to read anything on screen, but having a little bit of extra screen real estate, especially on a more creative focused laptop, is actually kind of nice to have. Otherwise, when it comes to the colors, it's absolutely stunning to look at. My Spider 5 and Display Cal said that it runs around about 100% 100% or just shy of 100% of both the DCI-P3 and Adobe RGB spectrums, which, if you take out margin of error, is likely closer to exactly 100%, which makes this one of the most color accurate displays I've ever tested, let alone in a laptop. As for the keyboard, it's actually pretty nice. It's a fairly tactile feel without being too loud or too mushy, and while it does have a backlight, they've gone with a bit of a weird option here in orange rather than a more standard and neutral white, but either way, having any sort of backlight is always good to have, and the trackpad is pretty good too, at least for a Windows machine anyway. The I/O is certainly better than some of its competitors, I'm looking at you, Apple, as it has DC in, USB 3, USB Type-A's, a 4-pole headphone jack, USB Type-C, Gigabit Ethernet, and HDMI, so not too bad, although notable exceptions here are an SD card reader and Thunderbolt 3, so really I'd like to see those added, especially on this more creative professional style machine. And speaking of it being a professional machine, I think they've really done a good job with the styling here of making this a nice subtle machine that doesn't scream gamery or anything else, and only has a small ConceptD logo on the top of the clamshell, and otherwise is a pretty neutral design that would fit in pretty well in the boardroom environment. Like I said, it's also not all that loud. While it can get a little bit loud in stuff like gaming and even some rendering applications, it's certainly not loud enough to annoy your coworkers, for example, and so I have no problem recommending it here. For me, I think Acer really hit the nail on the head with this design. Both the styling, both the hardware inside and the performance it offers, and even its pricing, which, while they don't actually have this model listed on their website, the one with the Quadro graphics, it seems to be around about £2,000, which is pretty much in line with the existing kind of market. You know, the Acer Triton 500 is around about £1,500, but obviously has much less RAM and storage, so seems like a pretty good deal overall. So would I put one of these on my desk? The answer here is definitely yes. This is a fantastic machine. I really like the overall ID, the overall user experience. The screen is utterly fantastic. It's got a good amount of power and a really good price point to match the rest of the market. And the other thing is, if I got to keep this, if this wasn't a review sample I have to send back, then this would hands down become my, you know, traveling machine. I tend to edit all of my videos at home on my desk PC anyway, so I don't really use a laptop while I'm here, but when I'm away, this would be a fantastic addition, especially thanks to that extra RAM and storage capacity. With that said, those are my thoughts, and I would love to hear yours in the comments down below. What do you think of the kind of business version of a gaming laptop? Obviously, it still has basically the same chassis, including the sort of semi-angular vents at the back, but otherwise, what do you think of the Quadro graphics instead, and also the pricing? Do let me know in those comments down below. Now, if you want to see more videos like this one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, do hit that subscribe button with the bell notification icon. If you want to check out the ConceptD 5, I'll do my best to find this exact spec in your local Amazon store. The link down below is an Amazon affiliate link, and it will take you to your local Amazon store where you can see pricing when and where you watch this, because it can and does vary, but I might not be able to find the exact version, so I'll leave it as a search term where I can't find that. Otherwise, there's plenty of other links in the description down below if you want to support the channel. A lot of stuff that doesn't cost you anything, like Amazon and Overclock UK affiliate links. There's also stuff like Streamlabs if you want to start streaming, and a load of other stuff down there too. You can also check out some more videos over there. I'll try and leave the Triton 500 review if you want to see that one. Obviously a very similar overall chassis and design, but if you want to check that out, there'll be more over there, and that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, do leave those in the comments down below, and we'll see you all in the next video.